All right, grade fives, welcome back to another lesson. Let's just get started. We're going to talk about skiing a little bit here. So the first day at the Silver Star Mountain, the first day it opened, 2,264 lift tickets were sold. The second day, 2,097 lift tickets are sold. About how many more tickets were sold the first day? And just a reminder, about. That is a key word because we're going to be doing something called estimating. So we're going to be looking at estimating differences, and differences means the answer when we subtract. So let's look at some different student strategies for estimating a difference. To estimate 4,218 minus 3,084, Pippa used something called front-end rounding, and she subtracted only the first digits of the number. So 4, and you can see I kind of bolded it, the 4 is bolded and the 3. So we're going to say, we're just going to look at that first digit, 4,000, because that 4 represents the 4,000, and that 3 represents 3,000, is about 4,000 minus 3,000, so the answer is about 1,000. Now, for a closer estimate, she's going to look at the other 3 digits in each number, and 218 from the 4,218, that's about 200. And the 84 is about 100, so we could do 200 minus 100 equals 100, and we could add that to our estimate of 1,000. So 1,000 plus 100 is 1,100. So we could say in the end, 4,218 minus 3,084 is about 1,100. And there's a lovely, lovely portrait of Pippa there. She's very, very happy. Okay, let's estimate 6,947 minus 2,109. Almost said and there, but I didn't quite do it. Gideon estimated each number to the closest thousand. So it's slightly different than front-end rounding. We're going to just go to the closest thousand. So 6,947 is closer to 7,000 than it is to 6,000. And 2,109 is closer to 2,000 than it is to 3,000. If you remember our benchmarks that we did yesterday, it's kind of what we're talking about. So 7,000 minus 2,000 equals 5,000. So we could say the answer is about 5,000. Well, again, for a closer estimate, he could estimate each number to the closest 100. So instead of going to the closest 1,000, let's go to the closest 100. So 6,947 is closer to 6,900 than it is to 7,000. And 2,109 is closer to 2,100 than it is to 2,200 or 2,200. So 6,900 minus 2,100 is 4,800. So that's an even closer estimate than it was to 5,000. There's a nice picture of Gideon there. He's giddy with math. All right, let's do something here. We're going to estimate to the closest 1,000, then we'll go to the closest 100. So I don't know, 3,218 minus 1,022. I don't know. Okay, the closest 1,000. So 3,218 is closer to which 1,000? 3,000 or 4,000? It's closer to 3,000 than it is to 4,000. And 1,022 is closer to 1,000 than it is to 2,000. So we could say 3,000 minus 1,000, our answer could be about 2,000. Okay, so 3,218 minus 1,022 is about 2,000. So this time, let's go to the closest 100. Let's do a different example. How about you try this one? 6,974 minus 4,941. Okay, we're gonna go to the closest 100. Okay, so we did the closest 1,000. Let's go to the closest 100, and let you try that. Maybe do this in your head, or do a little bit on a whiteboard or a piece of paper, and then press play when you're ready to go on. Okay, so using the benchmarks we kind of talked about, so 6,974. the 100 it's closest to is actually 1,000. It's closer to 7,000 than it is to 6,900. And 4,941 is closer to 4,900 than it is to 5,000. So here we're going to have 7,000 minus 4,900. And I can imagine that I have a 7,000 minus 5,000, which is 2,000. I'll add another 100 to make up for that missing 100, so 2,100. Okay, so 974 minus 4,941 is about 2,100. Okay, so both Pippa and Gideon use something called compatible numbers to estimate 5,804 minus 210. Pippa said, well, 5,804, it's pretty close to 5,810. And so then she said, well, 5,810 minus 210 equals 5,600. She chose this number here because she noticed the second number had a 10. Okay, so she used something called compatible numbers. It's easy to subtract those. Gideon said that 210, well, that's close to 204. He's going doing the opposite thing. So he did 5,804 minus 204 and got this exact same answer. So he looked at, it's a different color. He was looking at these digits and he changed the second number to make it easier. So he's using something called compatible numbers. So both students had the same estimate. It's about 5,600. Okay, I'm going to get you to use compatible numbers to estimate 4,290 minus 2,687. Try it out. We're going to use compatible numbers here. We're going to change the digits to make it easier to subtract. Pause, press play when you're ready to go on. Okay, so I can see here that these few numbers, these digits at the end are kind of similar. So 4,290, I'm going to keep that one, but let's say I make the other one 2,690, okay? I'm going to, because that's pretty close to 90, so I can make a 0, another 0, borrow here, 12 minus 6 is 6. So the answer is about 1,600. Now, if I change this to 4,287 minus 2,687, 0, 0, again, we get the same answer. So if you see numbers that are pretty close, especially in the last, the tens or the ones digits, using compatible numbers is a very, very quick way of estimating. All right, folks, that is all. So please remember, in life, math happens. Take care.